Hi artists! Today I'm going to show you how to make a large flower on newspaper because a lot of us don't have big paper at home. I'm going to show you how to make a tulip, a large flower, and a cactus in a pot. The materials that you're going to need today are a blank piece of newspaper that you can open up. You're going to need a Sharpie or a marker. You can even use a pencil if you want, a paintbrush, any kind of paint you want. I'm using Temper Cakes, a water cup, and a pair of scissors so that you can cut it out when you're done. The first flower that I'm going to show you how to make is this simple, colorful flower. I'm going to make mine sort of small so that it's easy for you to see on my screen, but when you make yours, if you want to make a large one, you would unfold the newspaper and try to take up the whole space with your drawing. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to make a circle. It doesn't need to be perfect. Real flowers are not perfect. Then you're going to make a teardrop sort of shape. What I do to make that shape is I start with a line connecting to my circle. I go out and then I stop. Then I go back to my center. I go out and then I stop. And then I continue that all the way around. So I go out, stop, out, and then I connect. Out, and connect. And I do that all the way around my flower. And then if you'd like, you can add a stem. I did not add a stem to mine. And then after that, all you need to do is decide what colors you're going to use to paint your flower, and then you can paint it however you like, and then you will cut it out so that it looks like this one. Now that I have my flower, it's time for me to paint. So I'm going to dip into my water, and then from here on it's completely your choice how you'd like to fill it in. You can make a pattern, you can make each section a solid color, but the one thing that you need to remember is that newspaper is thinner paper than the regular paper that we paint on, so when it gets wet, it can rip really easily. Once it's dry, it hardens again and it feels just like the newspaper did before it got wet, but just be really careful when it's wet that you don't rip it. So don't try to cut it out until it's completely dry. And something else that's really nice about this project is that you don't have to stay inside the lines completely because you're going to cut it out. If I accidentally go outside my petal line right now, no one would even know because I would cut it out when it's dry anyway. Next, I'm going to show you how to make a potted plant. You don't have to make a cactus, but I'm going to make a cactus in my drawing. So if you only want to follow along with the pot part and then add your own type of plant, feel free to do that. So the first step is we need to draw the lip or the edge of the pot. So I do that by making a line that sort of looks like a smile line. Next, you're going to make a line on both edges of your smile line. So a line that goes down, and then another line that goes straight down. Then you're going to make a copycat line. So a line that looks just like our first smile line, but one that connects from here to here. So I'm just going to copy that shape as best as I can, and that's the lip or the edge of my pot. Next, I'm going to make a line that curves, or not curves, tilts down a little. So it's curving in, it's tilting in a little bit, it's not just going straight down. And then I'm going to make another line on this side that tilts in also. When a line tilts in, that shows that something is not just flat. The last shape we're going to make down here is another little smile line, because when we add a line that's not straight, it shows space and it makes our object look round. Very last step is, right now our pot doesn't have a back, so it doesn't look like it could hold anything. So I am going to make a line like that and another line like that. If you're using a pencil, you can just make a whole line that goes across like that, but since I'm using a Sharpie, I want to leave some room for my plant. So for a cactus, like the one that I made, you're going to make two lines that go up, and then you're also going to continue these lines down into the pot so it looks like they come right up to the edge. Then you get to decide where you want the arms or the pieces that stick out to be. So I'm going to make my first arm come out here, and then I'm going to make my other arm come out here. Then you also get to decide how tall you want those arms to be. So I'm just going to swoop my line up, swoop it around, and come back down. And that's one of the arms. Then I'm going to make my second arm. I'm going to swoop up, around, and back down. And then I just need to complete the cactus by going up, making a loop, and connecting. And then there you have a potted cactus. And you can add spikes, because we know that cacti have these little prickles on them. It's kind of hard to cut the prickles out, so maybe add the prickles inside so that you're not trying to cut around the edges. And then just like the flowers, you can paint and cut this out however you'd like. The last flower that I'm going to show you how to draw is a tulip. These tulips are almost done blooming. As you can see, a lot of the petals are starting to fall. But we are going to focus on this one right here that I'm holding. As you can see, tulips are sort of like a cup shape, and they have a really long stem and skinny and tall leaves. I'm going to show you how to make a simplified version of a tulip, and then a more complex version if you would like the challenge. So my simplified tulip looks like this. It doesn't look exactly like the ones that I have because mine are starting to fall. The petals are starting to fall off. This one looks more like what they look like when they first start to bloom. So to make a tulip, you're going to start with a really long stem, skinny long stem like we just noticed in my plant. And then some tall and skinny leaves. Maybe you can add one in the back there, another one if you want. And then I'm going to make my stem a little taller. And then all I do is I make this cup shape. And then you can make as many bumps as you want. On my big one, I made 1, 2, 3. And that's it. That's a simple tulip. Lastly, I'm going to show you how to draw a tulip with a few more details than the one I did before. I'm going to show you on plain paper just so that you can see everything that I'm drawing, but if you would like to do a larger one on the newspaper, feel free to do so. So my first step is going to be making a long stem just like before, because tulips have those really long skinny stems, which is why they always fall over. Then I'm going to make some skinny and tall leaves, as tulips are known for having those really skinny and tall leaves. You can even add one in the back. And then, just like the other one, I'm going to start out by making a cone shape or a cup shape, just like this. And then from this edge, I'm going to bring my line down, and that's going to form one petal. Then from this edge, I'm going to bring that down to form another petal. But I'm going to stop right there so it makes it look like this petal is going behind the other one. Then from here, I'm going to add a point like that. And then behind this point, I'm going to make two more smaller points that make it look like these are the petals that are in the back. And then if you like, you can add some little details. You can darken the ones in the back. You can darken the ones in the front to emphasize that they are closer to us. And then you're all done. I hope you enjoyed this week's Wyckoff Wide art project, and I cannot wait to see all of your artwork hanging in your windows. And don't forget, you can choose more than just one way of flower making, so feel free to try more than one.